Welcome to the Dude Topics podcast. Episode 1, like let's go. Starting with into season 6 of my original podcast. But we're just rolling with episode numbers, so I don't know if season 6 is just going to go forever. And 5 years from now, I'm just episode 702. I don't know what I'm going to do. So right now, all I know is it's episode 1 of the Do Topics podcast. And actually, before I start, because I almost did it again, I realized the other day when I was recording like my rebranding episode from Beatdown Bandits to Do Topics is there was a couple times where I realized how close I was to saying and how much it sounds like Dude Perfect. I just wanted to like roll right into it. I don't know why. I just kept wanting to say that, but I had to like stop myself a couple times. Almost did it right there in the intro where I just, welcome to the Dude Topics podcast. I have to think. I don't know why. It just want to rolls right off the tongue. So yeah, shout out to those Dude Perfect guys who uh I don't know, it sounds like a weird name, but man, like it fits and it just rolls right into something. Anyway, today's first, I don't know, do I just call these like dude topics? I kind of want to, kind of want to do that, but the big theme, I think that I just wanted to talk about regardless, and I wanted to talk about it, in like in my Beatdown Bandits podcast. I'm like, man, like it just really doesn't fit with like what I was talking about or the whole theme of that. So I wanted to that thus like kind of the shift in content over here is I want to talk about college football. College football is back, and it like I said, that just didn't fit with the previous. So now anyway, we're moving on, right? So topic one, dude, topic one. I don't know how I want to say this, but college football is back, right? So super happy about it, and not college football 25. I actually did talk about that, but and I want to talk about college football 25, the game later on. We'll hit that. But actual football. Was excited to wake up this past Saturday, and been talking about it for days leading up to it. Just how like exciting I was for anything, and even like a game that I didn't care about that came on at noon. I was still just excited to have something back. Now I'm not necessarily excited about having like my happiness levels or my emotions affected for like until like February-ish. Like like there's a lot of highs and lows with any sports fan. That's just the way it goes. But my like overall having my happiness levels really affected by like Ohio State or the Bengals or something like that. It's that's hard, right? And now I'm a little too old for it to like impact me like a ton. I can bounce back a lot faster than I used to, but like my poor son, who's 17, he's dramatically affected, right? So it's pretty tough for him. Like he's down for days. Like if something happens, but I do swear to like little baby Jesus laying in a manger that if Ohio State loses to Michigan again this year, like I don't know. I don't even know. Let's just make sure that does not happen. Like these flipping cheating bastards. Like and I just cannot let that happen. And I actually, speaking of cheating bastards, I still need to watch like the Connor Stallions documentary. It just came out yesterday. It came out at like midnight or something like that. And I've listened to like a couple like little like quick reviews on it. I want to watch it this week because I'd like to talk about it at next week's podcast. But just came out. It sounds like it's just loaded with shenanigans. It sounds like it's not a documentary, and basically, like, of course, he's just denying everything. He's willing to like just die, for Michigan success. It's freaking hilarious. So, and then of course, it's came out that like he was 100% the person on the sidelines of that Central Michigan game, Central Michigan and Michigan State game. confirmed it's him. But when, of course, they asked him, he's like, "Oh, I don't recall." It's like Wolf on Wall Street, man. Like I do not recall this. Come on, dude. Just admit what you did. It's freaking hilarious. Anyway, so let's jump to that noon kickoff game. Dude, topic number two. Is Florida State cooked, right? Like I kind of want to go like full dramatic mode and just say, yeah, like season is over. Like they're done. Like I know last year devastating for them not getting into the playoffs. So I totally get it. Um uh but now like you lose in like the worst possible way. Like you've got a conference opponent that is unranked. You're a heavy favorite. You're a favorite to get into the playoffs to win the conference, and you lose. Yeah, like that's not not necessarily a way you want to do that. So anyway, overall, not super thrilled with like the week zero games that we got. Um, I guess it doesn't matter. I was just happy to get football back, but the best we could get on week zero is an overrated Florida State team losing to an unranked team in Dublin, Ireland. And I'm not bashing Dublin, Ireland in any way. Honestly, like the stadium was actually, from what I could tell, was actually really nice. I don't know, like the situation with the field or anything like that, or the facilities, but from what it looked like, it actually looked like a really nice stadium. It looked like it was filled. Everybody was cheering. So, shout out to the Irish. Everybody looked like they were having a good time. So that in itself is great, but why, I guess. I get it if it was like Notre Dame, send Notre Dame over there. But Florida State and Georgia Tech, it just, I don't know, whatever. I don't know the story behind why that happened, but anyway, shout out to Georgia Tech's kicker. That was very high pressure situation, clutch field goal to win that. Now, I know there was like a little bit of controversy that came out. I didn't see anything like right off of the bat, but like the next day, I saw like during that kind of final drive for Georgia Tech, there was like some play went to the sideline. There was about a minute left or so, and they called him in bounds when he was tackled, which kept the clock running, which is what Georgia Tech was wanting to do. They want the clock, you know, ticking so they can go down and kick a field goal with no time left. And wear down Florida State's timeouts. That was all the goal. And it seems like he was probably out of bounds, but they called him inbounds, and it was right in front of the ref. So ref clearly just missed the call and called what he thought probably was right. And so there's no way to know if it really would have affected an outcome. I would say best case scenario is Georgia Tech kicks that and Florida State's got an extra 30 seconds to try to do something. It's hard to say. And now I do think that if Florida State gets that game in Florida, they win that game 99 out of 100 times. Well, 9 out of 10 times. Um, drop that down a little bit because shout out to Georgia Tech, man. That offense is a heck of a lot better than it used to be. It's not like that's the stereotypical like triple option that they used to run. So yeah, shout out to Georgia Tech. They look a lot better than they used to. So yeah, really good. So transitioning into dude topic number three, which is Hawaii. But speaking of college football, week zero also gave us the Delaware State versus Hawaii. Now I want everybody to think about that real quick. And if you're not familiar with the United States, Delaware is on the far east northeastern side of the United States. United States is a massive country, right? Like the entire continent of Europe will fit in it. Um, it is massive. It is a massive, massive country. There are multiple mountain ranges that go through this. Delaware State is on the far side of one. They have to fly. all the way from the northeast part of the United States, all the way across the United States, and then across the Pacific to the little islands of Hawaii. Um, there is a university there, uh, beautiful location, but that is a really far flight. And Delaware State is in the city, or yeah, I guess, is that a city? Is it even like 6,000 people? And it's a small area, small city of Dover, Delaware. Um, that is like 3.5 hours to JFK. So they can't even fly from Delaware. The team has to take a bus 3.5 hours south to New York City, and they fly from New York City or JFK Airport to, I would assume they're flying to like California. So the other side of the country, which is going to be like a 5.5 hour flight anyway. They're having to fly that and then fly from there to Hawaii, which is like another 5 hours. So virtually like 10 hours in the air, something like that. Massive flight. So while they're on their bus down to JFK, the bus breaks down. They all miss their flight. It's I don't know, like worst case scenario, logistics nightmare. As somebody who does a lot with logistics in his job, I'm having a panic attack for that team. If I was like a traveling secretary for that team who's responsible for like booking flights and travel and stuff for like their athletics department, that would have been my last day. I'd be like, I ain't gonna deal with this. Like, I can't get probably 70 players, coaches, trainers, things like that. They got to get this whole team, all their equipment shipped to Hawaii. So what ended up happening, all the players and coaches, they all got put on tons of different flights in New York at all different times and flown across the country. Insane. It seems like they made it all there in time, but I just can't imagine trying to like reschedule at the last second random flights to the other side of the country. So whoever is responsible for Delaware State's logistics, you are the GOAT, uh, as far as like planning and travel. I hope you got a raise. Delaware State, if you watch this, give whoever that person or those persons are that manage that, give them a bonus, give them a raise, give them an extra week of PTO. You need to do something for those people. That was epic. What they were able to do, because that's worst case scenario. It would be different if they were playing in Florida. It would be different if they were playing in Michigan. It wouldn't have been a big deal. But they're going to Hawaii, and that's massive. So shout out to them. But anyway, they made it there okay. Unfortunately, I mean, Hawaii was a big favorite. Hawaii won, so man, those Delaware State players had to fly all the way across the country, last second flights, travel logistics nightmare, and then lose and then fly home. Uh, I my heart hurts for Delaware State. I'm sorry, guys. Anyway, that leads us to do topic number four, and we're sticking with college football because I mean that's what I'm excited about right now. Let's talk Ohio State versus Akron, right? So I am a Buckeye fan. There's a the fight song right here. There's this big blackboard like right here, the fight song on it. I'm a big Ohio State fan. So um but this is the topic of the effing day right here for me is Buckeyes are back as well. My prediction for the game 42 to 10. I suspect like probably like a late touchdown or field goal for Akron in kind of garbage time. But I'm hoping, and I'm hoping and expecting everything to kind of be pumping on all cylinders. I mean, this is Akron, for crying out loud. We can do this. So no worries there. I don't expect too much. I do want to see. There's a lot of things I want to see. I want to see like Henderson and Judkins just running all over the place. I want to see. It better be like the second person to be able to bring them down. I don't want them getting stopped by the first people. I want to see Will Howard like take care of the ball. I know he was prone to that in the past at Kansas State. I want to see him be able to take care of that ball and not turn it over. Um, he's got weapons. He's got, a heck of a lot better weapons than he's ever had in his career. So this is an opportunity for him. So I want to see a couple touchdown passes to easily the best wide receiving core in the country. I want to see uh, let's see. I want to see. Yeah, I was gonna say, I have some notes over here that I don't want to miss something, but I do want to see JJ Smith. It's Jeremiah Smith. Apparently he goes by JJ, by the way, but I want to see him get at least like several targets. Um, it seems like he's going to be kind of like that third option, so he should be able to get quite a few targets. But if we could get him involved, like this guy's clearly like a total freak, massive individual. Really looking forward to seeing how he develops. I also want to see the tight ends get involved. It seems like those guys, and there's like three in the mix right now. Um, but it seems like Gee Scott would be the favorite to start. I'm assuming he's been named starter. I guess I haven't really paid attention to that aspect, but clearly he's been has he's got the most experience coming in. So I'd like to see them get involved. I don't feel like Ohio State's taken advantage of tight ends for a while, for years and years and years. Cade Stover was about the best we did as far as like getting someone involved. But I feel like we've had some pretty good tight ends, and then they develop in the NFL, and they actually look really good. It's like, why did we never utilize these guys? Like we just forced them to be blockers, and then they'd catch some random touchdowns every once in a while. But I feel like it's something we could take advantage of. The offensive line, obviously slightly upgraded from the last couple of years. Um, I kind of want to demand as a fan that we see some type of massive improvement from these guys. Um, Obviously they have not looked great the last couple of years, but we've brought in McLaughlin, and so we've got some options there for of ways that we can do things. We had a pretty decent center last year that now is moving around, so I want to see some improvements. Absolutely. I mean, everybody does. Corners and safeties should be able to uh, lock the crap in, cause some takeaways. Absolutely. Excellent corners. We bring in downs. So I would expect the secondary to be one of the best secondaries in the country as well. We have potentially one of the best pairs of like defensive ends in the country as well. I would expect them to wreak havoc. I want to see development from the linebackers, right? With bringing Laurinaitis in, who's one of the greatest linebackers we've ever had, All American. I would expect a huge jump in skill. Steel Chambers and Eichenberg, they did what they could. Eichenberg, you'd see flashes, and Steel Chambers obviously transitions because we were desperate. And he transitioned because he wasn't going to get the snaps at running back. So he did great as far as like just basically filling in the role for a couple years. And Eichenberg, yeah, he did what he could, but I think now is our best chance. And then Sonny Styles, which is just a massive individual at safety. He's big even for a linebacker. So I mean, guy could literally fill in at defensive end, I think, at this point, if you've seen pictures of him. I mean, 6'4", like 240. I mean, big guy. Could easily fill in at defensive end. We used to do that a little bit with like Bobby Carpenter back in the early 2000s, where linebacker shoved in at defensive end just because they're loaded with speed and power. So I think this is maybe one of those opportunities. All right, next topic, topic number 6 for today is the crew. Um, Crew won the League's Cup. I know not everyone watches soccer, even though it's the world's most popular sport. But damn, Crew win again. They got pretty blessed though in the Leagues Cup. I mean, you got three countries competing between Canada, United States, and Mexico, and the two different leagues, the Mexican League and MLS, obviously. But 47 teams, right? And I think the Crew got pretty lucky in the brackets. They only ended up playing MLS teams. They never had to play uh, a Liga team, but it really didn't matter. MLS kind of dominated all the Mexican teams. So none of the Mexican teams really made it very far. The championship was two MLS teams. So yeah, I mean, overall, the Mexican League tends to be better than MLS. I mean, they kicked the crap out of us in the All-Star game, like 4-1, I think. So yeah, there's obviously a lot with that. Regardless though, the Crew played great through like the CONCACAF tournament. They made it to the finals there. And then, here in Leagues Cup, winning the thing. So, yeah, awesome thing. And then, I it was against LAFC again. So I would be willing to bet that they are getting kind of sick of losing to the Crew in championship games. That's twice now here recently, and we beat them the last three, at least three times, maybe more. But the last three times we beat them for sure. So, but yeah, either way, they're kind of getting their butts kicked by us right now. Now granted, it did take us like stoppage time to score two goals in like a minute and a half. So, but either way, 3-1 victory, I will take it. So that moves me to do topic number seven. It's just all my goddamn travel I'm doing right now. So work has me going quite a bit of different places here recently, mostly in California, but it's all on the other side of the country. And I say this because I don't want things to kind of cause issues or delays with me being able to put out like content, and especially kind of more like do topic podcasts because I wanna keep these going on a pretty regular basis the best I can. But also I did get pretty lucky this time. Just last week's travel that I did. My wife got to go with me on this work trip, so that's the second time I've been able to do that. I took her to one like I don't know 8 9 years ago, something like that. We went to Chicago, and we were there for like 3 or 4 days for a project out there. But I got to take my son with me at that point. And now California. So got to go out there. It was just 4 days, 3 nights, but kind of lumps in like her birthday and anniversary as part of that too. So yeah, it worked out pretty well for us. And plus someone else, like I was talking about with like the Hawaii Delaware State thing, is like that's a long flight from one side of the country to the other, and it's basically like 5 hours of flight time. Um, I usually do a connecting flight in there, and so somewhere between like St. Louis, Denver, Phoenix, Las Vegas, I usually have a layover, and so one flight's usually like 3.5, 4 hours, the other one's like an hour, 20 minutes, something like that. So it's a super long day of travel. So so having somebody else kind of go through that misery with me is pretty nice. But yeah, that's super rough to be able to do that. And then I'm going out there every like 4 to 6 weeks. I have been doing that for quite a bit here recently. Um, but that's a pain. But there are some bonuses, and I wanted to talk about something is, get some free food on these like work trips or whatever, which is nice. I try not to eat anything like super fancy or whatever, but everything out there is just so expensive. I usually eat at like a burger joint, and there's a nice little restaurant in kind of like the downtown area of where I go, and but we found something new this time. But yeah, normally I get a chance to kind of like stumble across these, and I took my wife to some of my regular places, but we went to someplace new for dinner. I think on our last night. Um, but honestly, it was we had an appetizer. My wife is still talking about it. We had an appetizer of meatballs, world's best meatballs, 100%. They were amazing. So shout out to the Market Tavern in Dublin, California. if you ever go in that area, Bay Area of California, go to go to the Market Tavern, Dublin, California. It is amazing. The food itself was great. I had I think I had the fish tacos. My wife had like an Italian sausage pizza. But the meatballs are amazing. Holy crap. Um, oh, but also like jumping back to like the long flight stuff. Have you guys seen like the people who do like the raw dog? Uh, sounds horrible, but they call it like the raw dogging a flight, where the flights are like 4 hours or 15 hours flying across the planet, and they're they do these raw dogs where they have no phone, no or they yeah, they're just not allowed to use it. No cell phone, no laptop, no books, no magazines, no nothing. The only thing and no like some of them do it with like no water, no drinking, no snacks, no nothing. They just stare at the back of the seat in front of them. I think the only thing they can do is look at the safety information or like the flight screen where you can see like the flight moving across like the map or whatever. It's insane, 100%. And honestly, one of the most it's one of the best athletic feats of all time, in my opinion. Like that is like the mental ability to just set and literally do nothing for like 6 hours or whatever is impressive. So if you're one of those people who do that, oh my God, you are a pure hero. Anyway, I got to go back out again in a couple weeks. I'm definitely going to get to struggle to get some of these out as often as I would like. There might be like a 2 week span where I'm going to struggle to get this stuff out, which of course is weekly. Of course, is what my goal is. But anyway, speaking of food though, and meatballs or whatever, food and drinks. That takes me to kind of my dude topic number 8, which is hazy IPAs. So, I've been drinking them quite a bit here recently. I had one at the Market Tavern. I had probably 3 or 4 on that trip at 3 or 4 different places. But I was thinking about this the other day. When I was in my 20s, I enjoyed IPAs and really no issues with them. I picked them up like quite a bit. I wasn't drinking a lot, but socially or whatever. But occasionally I would stop even at like world markets and pick up like a mixed 6 pack. But they're really good. And then like when I was like 30, I just hated them and just gave them up like a solid decade. Like, no, they taste like vomit. I hate them. They're gross. And but I was talking to somebody, like a coworker or whatever this was, like 5, 8 years ago, something like that. And um he talked about like taste changing. He's like, look, like every like 5 years your taste kind of changed, your taste buds evolve, things like that. And he's like, give it another shot, because he was like big into IPAs at the time. And so I did, and actually liked it. And then probably 3 or 4 months ago, my wife and I kind of went out on like a date night, and I hadn't had like a hazy IPA in a long time at that point, but I got one, and I'm like, man, this is fantastic. So so yeah, I'm kind of back into these like hazy IPAs or whatever again. But freaking loved it. And then had a couple, like I said, when I was traveling this last time. But yeah, I've just kind of gotten super into them. So if you have any recommendations on like if you have a like a favorite hazy IPA or whatever, let me know. But really like the last 5-ish years, 10 years, I don't know, a while. Like I've kind of been in more, not even necessarily been into. That's just kind of what I've been forcing myself to drink. Is just kind of like lighter beers or even like Mick Ultras, which I don't mind like a Mick Ultra, but lower calories, lower carbs, things like that. Got to watch that girlish figure. So anyway, taste change. Just hey, give something else another try if you haven't if you haven't had it. Give a hazy IPA a try. Like I said, I enjoy them. And then yeah, oh, almost forgot. Um, Dude topic number 9 is college football 25. Like I said, college football 25. I've already talked about it a little bit in previous podcasts, in previous pre-Dude Topics podcast. But holy crap, it's such a fun game, right? I'm having so much fun with it as solo or with a friend. Um, I don't play online. Like I don't do it. People take advantage of things and whatever. It's stupid. But one of the best things I think to hit video gaming in like the last 4 or 5 years, I think we've just kind of been in like this um kind of big drought or purgatory of video games for some reason. Like probably the last 3 or 4 years, I just don't feel like anything really great has come out. And college football's kind of like the college football 25 has kind of like reignited my love of just having a good time while playing video games. Same way that like GTA 5 when that came out for a solid 5, 6, 7 years, like was amazing. And then when like Apex dropped, same way, like the first probably 14, 15 seasons of Apex, freaking loved it. I could play it 4 or 5 straight hours, no problems. But yeah, college football 25, shout out. It's kind of reignited like a love of a certain video game again, and it's great. No, I was getting like a little frustrated with like the kicking, roughing the kickers, things like that, and just kind of total lack of defense. It wasn't really buggy though. But anyway, those seem to have gotten a little bit better with patches. But yeah, no real glitchiness to it. I felt like it was pretty polished from the start, and which helps with a good experience with the game. Like it's not insane at the start. But I tell you what, like I'm in my second season of like that Bowling Green rebuild that I'm doing right now, and man, that is a challenge. I felt like I had a pretty good first season. I think 3 losses, but we won the MAC, we won our bowl game. Spoiler alert: I haven't put out the last few games yet, um, uh, but I did like in my second year, I lost some recruits to Michigan, so I got emotional and I scheduled them for my week one opponent, and I got obliterated. That was tough. I played my first game in season two the other day, and yeah, that was pretty bad. But the road to glory is super cool as well. I've got 3 of them going: a running back, a middle linebacker, and a QB. My running back, I'm in season two. My quarterback, I'm like halfway through season one. My linebacker, I kind of need to get back to. Haven't even played a game with him yet, but just started like got into the practice, and I've got to like week one. And then I've got like an Ohio State dynasty going as well. Probably halfway through second season on that one. I had Jack Sawyer win a Heisman, which was crazy. He had like 19 sacks or something like that. Obviously, D linemen don't win a Heisman very often. But now second season, I've got like Julian Sayin, just kind of slinging the rock for me in the second season. It's awesome. So yeah, thank you EA for kind of bringing this back to us. So yeah, that is it. So, thank you very much, everyone. That is it for me today. Let me know what you think about kind of like the new direction and content. And if there's anything that you'd like to see as topics or any suggestions you have on how this should work, I'm open to it. But yeah, if there's anything as far as like topics you want me to cover, that's great. But until next time, later.